Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kiana. If you're new, hello. Today we're talking all about mindsets. On YouTube, there are a lot of videos about habits that you can implement in your life in order to achieve success or to be a better person, but there isn't that much content about mindset habits that you can really ingrain into your routine in order to feel more fulfilled and successful and just better about yourself. So today I'm going to share with you 7 mindset habits that can change your perspective and just guide you towards a better life. So the first habit that I want to talk about is the concept of slowing down. Since being in lockdown, many of us have obviously been forced to stay at home and I guess slow down our lifestyle. But what I'm specifically referring to is learning how to take things one step at a time. So to use myself as an example, my social media feeds are always pushing me productivity content, time management content, and I love that stuff. However, what ends up happening is I try to make every single aspect of my life very efficient. And in doing so, I don't necessarily appreciate the beauty in just performing a task. So let's just say cooking. When we cook, we listen to a podcast that we wanted to listen to earlier today. Maybe we scroll on YouTube and look for a video. Maybe while we're cooking and watching YouTube, we're on our phones replying to messages. And it's that kind of chaos. It's that kind of chaos that I'm talking about. It's that kind of routine of never just doing one action at a time, feeling like we constantly have to multitask in order to maximize our time, in order to get the most out of our day. When truly, if you had to just prioritize which ones are more valuable or impact you more, a lot of the things that we consume that are quote unquote toxic, we probably just wouldn't have time to consume them. And though consciously reminding yourself to slow down is something I feel like you have to do inwards, there are some physical things you can do towards that. So I recommend being strict with yourself. And if you're cooking, just focus on cooking. If you're watching YouTube, you're not on your phone. These small things, even though we think it doesn't seep into other aspects of our life, it definitely does. Yes, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with multitasking, but there are just times when we need to kind of pull it back in, you know? Number 2 is to reflect more. So I've honestly learned so much more about myself ever since I started journaling again in October. And it's not in a cheesy way, but if you just think about it, having to document and put pen to paper or however you journal, having to look at something you've been feeling and acknowledge that it exists, like there's no way you can ignore that emotion or ignore that thought. You literally have tangible evidence of how you feel. And that also kind of helps you because there are a lot of times where, let's say, people are gaslighted for how they feel, or you feel as if you're overreacting to something that probably affects you. You now have proof that these things happen over a period of time. You have proof that you've been feeling this way. It kind of just makes things more real, more concrete, and I just feel like it helps with reflecting overall. How I like to reflect is when I journal, for example, I also like to take a third perspective and look at myself kind of like from a bird's eye view from some external person and just look at me as if I didn't know me. I find that that has really helped me to reflect because it also helps you to put your bad actions into perspective, meaning allowing you to see how your actions affect others as well. So I definitely recommend reflecting more. This one is a hard one and it's to compare less. The fact that we compare ourselves to others so much is not necessarily our fault, especially if you maybe grew up with a sibling. You definitely probably have been compared to for big portions of your life, and then that transcends into comparing yourself to friends, and ultimately that has manifested itself into comparing yourself to online strangers that you don't even know. That's redundant. Strangers are people you don't know. To simply tell you to compare yourself to others less, I feel like that is useless advice. So what I will provide to you are a few more tangible ways that you can start ingraining that mindset into your lifestyle. Spend less time on social media. I said it a while ago, I'm saying it again. On the flip side of that, say you don't want to come off social media, fine. The people that you look at their feeds and you genuinely feel jealous, you need to unfollow them. That will really help you. The people that you're constantly comparing yourself to, the people that you look at them and it's not even like an inspirational, wow, that makes me want to be a better person. It makes me feel motivated, but instead it makes you feel like shit. Like you literally look at that person's life and you're like, wow, they're living it up and I feel like I feel pathetic. Unfollow them. unfollow them. Third tip, constantly acknowledge your wins, monthly, daily, weekly wins. You have to remind yourself that you're still achieving things. And let's just say you feel as if you have nothing that you consider a win. Let's say you've been spending your days just sitting in bed doing nothing. Make a tiny goal and say, all right, today I will go outside. If you go outside, that's a tiny win. It starts with small things like that, which really goes into goal setting. So I'll make a separate video about that if you guys want, but you really have to do the work to focus on yourself more and others less. My fourth mindset habit is to enjoy being alone. And when I say be alone, I know many of us probably do live alone. Maybe you're tired of being alone because of lockdown, but I'm not talking about being physically alone. I'm talking about truly just being disconnected and alone. If you were locked in a room, what items could you bring in there to keep you entertained? What do you enjoy doing? Do you enjoy reading? Do you enjoy doing puzzles? Do you enjoy sleeping? Do you enjoy drinking coffee and looking outside? What do you enjoy doing by yourself? Which is what really hinders people from going to the movies by themselves, going to the restaurants by yourself. Do you really enjoy those activities, or is it that you just like the company of being with someone else? Why is it that you really want to see a movie but you have to go with someone else? You're not going for the person. You're not even supposed to be talking in the movie, and if you're one of those people, that's another story. And it takes practice, of course, because going to the movies alone could honestly be just a social anxiety thing, right? And obviously I'm no expert. I'm just sharing you guys advice that, I've learned works for me. But I do recommend finding things within your home, within your space that make you happy. There are other factors that come into play other than just enjoying being alone. Reflecting can help you enjoy being alone more. There's a lot of intersection that comes into play in regard to these tips. So don't just take what I'm saying as this is the solution to how you're gonna achieve that goal. Let's move on. My fifth tip is to practice more discipline. Ironically enough, the idea of being more disciplined is my driving focus point this year. And it's really just because the lack of discipline holds us back from becoming great. And it doesn't matter what you define great to be. I just think that it's that lack of discipline and that push of laziness that really hinders us from being our best self. I still struggle with being more disciplined, so I don't have the concrete tips for you to achieve this goal, but it is something that I push myself to do every day. I write in my planner what exactly I need to do. I try new methods. I've been trying time blocking as a way to be more disciplined. You know how when you're in high school, you're forced to attend your classes? Well, you're forced to be disciplined because you'll get in trouble. You kind of have to be like that with yourself sometimes. You kind of have to reward yourself when you accomplish something and punish yourself when you fail to do something for no good reason, because that's how it would have worked in school, right? If you did something bad, but there's a justifiable reason as to why you didn't do your homework, for example, you'd probably get off. But if you're just out here being lazy and you didn't do your homework, Number 6, constantly express gratitude. Lately, I've been using the 5-minute journal, and that has really challenged me to recognize what I'm truly appreciative of, because the 5-minute journal has 3 prompts that they ask you every single day. And it gets really freaking repetitive to a point where it's almost slightly like, oh my gosh, but it forces you to think beyond. It forces you to not just say things like my house, my coffee, my bed. Even though those are things I write on some days, on other days, it's really just acknowledging having shelter when no one else does. Having a parent that supports me when others don't have that. It really pushes you every single day to just think deeper and deeper and deeper. And how can I rephrase the way in which I'm blessed with shelter? What about the shelter am I grateful for? So I just challenge you to be more grateful, appreciate the people around you, appreciate the things you've been gifted, appreciate the fact that you're talented if you are. It's just things like that, guys, you really just have to dig super deep. And my last tip for you is to prioritize your well-being. I used to think self-care was just this big, phony, money-making scam, but there are ways to make self-care work for you. I've said it before in other self-care vlogs. Self-care doesn't necessarily mean you just put on a face mask and go off into the sunset and just do some yoga in the park. Self-care can really just mean spending a day to reflect, spending a day to be alone. Do something that makes you feel good. Do something that will improve your life. Spending the time to prioritize yourself. All right, guys, so that is everything I have for you. I really hope this was helpful and not too preachy. I'm not some big motivational speaker. I just really liked this topic when I came up with it and I wanted to share it. I don't even know how a lot of you will find this, but I hope it helps at least one person. If you're that one person, comment down below which tip was your favorite. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you have not already and you enjoy the content that I make. And I will see you guys in the next video. Guys, I look so good today.